Welcome to this week's Dose of Emuna for Shabbat Kodesh. Vayechulu. Today we're going to learn about the whole idea of Vayechulu, about stopping. At one point, in the expansiveness of creation, there became too much. And at that point, Hashem, so to speak, said, "Stop, Vayechulu." And it was finished. And then, after Hashem stopped and commanded the creation to finish its job of creating, Hashem then said, Vayikadesh. The day became sanctified when, essentially, the creation stopped itself from continuing to create. So what we learn here is a most profound lesson. To sanctify, there needs to be sufficiency. In other words, there's an expansiveness of materialism, and when there is that enlargement and growing of this materialistic nature, then all the focus becomes on that, and we lose the idea of Kedusha, of spirituality. So it's only at the time that essentially the materialism of the world discontinues and comes to a stop and a finish that Hashem declared Tov Ma'od. In other words, something very good is only something that is finished, because it's the time for it to finish and it's officially been done. Otherwise, it continues to grow and grow and grow and expand to the point where it only goes downhill from then. So the art of living really comes through that teaching of Vayechulu, is when we can look at our lives and say, die, it's enough. I have enough. I have enough materialism. I have enough of my work. I have enough of it, of whatever it is that I have been doing throughout the 6 days of the work week. I am now entitled to say stop. In other words, the whole concept of me engaging in the materialistic world has to come to a stop. And that is the exercise of Shabbat Kodesh, to say stop. Enough is enough. I don't have to care about making more money or completing my job. Enough. Hashem said it's enough. And so it has to be enough for me too. Essentially, our job on Shabbat is to say die. Die to the things that consume us. That's godliness. Godliness is to say enough. 1 day a week, we put a limit on our ability to touch the outside world, and we say die. Shabbos is not just about 1 day. It's a life. It's a way of training our minds to think differently. It's a lifestyle. It's an idea of knowing that everything has a limit. There's a new week that comes upon us, Be'ezrat Hashem, on Sunday. That's not a continuation of the day before. Friday ends. There's a Vayechulu. There's a conclusion. And at that point, I perceive that it's all good. All that I went through, all that I did, that previous week of the 6 days, that is now concluded. I see that it's wonderful. I'm appreciating the essence of it, but it's time to say Vayechulu. And that's when holiness can come in. Holiness is saying it's enough. It's enough. I'm not losing control. I'm not letting my life to continually expand, because unfortunately that is the sickness of the generation. When we don't know how to say stop, when we lose the capacity to be able to say it's too much growth, it's too much growing out, I'm doing too much, and then there becomes no more die. There becomes no more Vayechulu, and then holiness can't come in. So Be'ezrat Hashem, let's take upon ourselves to enter into Shabbat Kodesh, be able to embrace the word Vayechulu, understand the word die, and to know that if Hashem stopped and saw that it was all good, so too can we stop and see that it's all finished, it's all good, and relish in that feeling of knowing that we should stop, rest, relax, and know that there's an end, and on Motzei Shabbat will begin a new beginning. Have a wonderful Shabbat.